Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tracing the fascinating journey of how raw data actually transforms into a powerful business asset using the complete Power BI workflow. If you've ever felt completely buried under a mountain of raw data, well, you're definitely not alone. But today, we're cutting straight through that noise.
So let's kick things off with the ultimate question that literally drives every data analyst out there. How do you actually transform those messy, raw numbers into strategic business gold? Because, it's not just about memorizing which buttons to click in the software. It's about following a bulletproof, proven methodology from start to finish.
And that brings us right to our roadmap. Think of this as your 15-step master cheat sheet. We're going to break the whole thing down step by step together. It captures the entire life cycle, from identifying the very first business problem all the way to cloud-based optimization. This is basically the exact DNA you need to take your skills from beginner to absolutely advanced.
To keep things organized, we'll organize our journey into these 6 distinct phases. We've got foundation and extraction, shaping and star schema, the DAX analytical brain, interactive dashboards, publishing to the cloud, and we'll wrap it all up with optimization and pro tips. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Foundation, business and extraction. This is crucial because before we even think about touching the software, we need to know exactly what we're solving. The very first steps of literally any successful project are defining those core business problems and then actually extracting the raw material to solve them. Think about it. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? Well, in data analytics, understanding the business is your blueprint. Before a single chart gets built, you absolutely must define the problem and establish your key performance indicators, or KPIs.
Whether you're tracking total sales, total profit, total orders, or your total customers, you're going to need to pull that data from somewhere. And the real beauty of this ecosystem is just how incredibly versatile it is. You might be connecting to a trusty old Excel or CSV file, querying a massive SQL Server database, or pulling directly from the web, APIs, or SharePoint. The goal here is super simple. Get that raw data into the system so we can start molding it.
Moving on to Section 2, shaping data and star schema. This is where we step into the forge and start hammering that chaotic raw data into a perfectly structured asset.
All of this heavy lifting happens in Power Query, your data cleaning engine. By running actions like splitting columns to extract specific text, removing duplicates so your rows stay unique, and replacing weird values, we take absolute chaos and turn it into pristine, structured tables. You're also making sure your data types are correct and filtering out all those annoying blanks. Getting this clean result is 100% mandatory before we can start connecting the dots.
Which brings us to a massively important concept, building a star schema. This setup acts as the architectural backbone for your entire Power BI model. It's universally recognized as the absolute best practice for data modeling. Let me tell you, if your model's a tangled mess, your report's performance will completely tank, and honestly, your numbers just won't tie out.
Check out the anatomy here. Notice how the transactional sales data, that's your fact table, packed with all your order IDs, dates, quantities, and raw metrics, sits right smack in the middle. And then it is perfectly surrounded and filtered by those dimension tables: customer, product, date, and region. Think of those dimension tables like descriptive branches. They let you effortlessly slice and dice that central sales data by specific names, categories, or locations. It's a brilliant way to work.
All right, Section 3, the analytical brain, docs. Let's see how we can give our freshly built model some serious intelligence.
Think of data analysis expressions, or DAX, as the actual brain of your operation. We are way past simple sums here. With functions like calculate, which, by the way, lets you apply super specific filters, like only looking at sales over $10,000, and divide, you're creating complex dynamic business logic. We call these measures. And the coolest part? Unlike static data, measures dynamically adapt on the fly to whatever filters or visuals your user happens to click on.
Now, time intelligence functions are where things get seriously impressive. Need year-to-date running totals right now? Use TOTY LTD. Want to see how you're performing against historical benchmarks? Same period last year handles that flawlessly. Instead of writing painfully complex manual queries to shift dates around, functions like dateadd and parallel period just do all the heavy lifting for you. This right here is exactly how you unlock true analytical power.
On to Section 4, designing interactive dashboards. This is the fun part where we actually bring all those intense calculations to life through clean, impactful visuals.
The golden rule for dashboard design is to keep it clean and keep it meaningful. A crisp donut or pie chart
Showing sales by category, like comparing electronics, clothing, and furniture, gives your viewers an instant read on the product mix. It highlights a part-to-whole relationship that our brains process in literally a fraction of a second.
Same idea goes for a bar or column chart. They are absolutely perfect for highlighting your top 5 products. When you need to compare values side by side, a bar chart draws the eye straight to your absolute best performers, like phones and laptops. It instantly tells business leaders exactly where the revenue is being generated without them having to hunt for it.
But look, a truly great dashboard is never just a static picture on a screen. By tossing in some slicers, you empower users to actively filter the entire report by date, region, or product category right on the fly. Combine that with advanced features like drill-throughs that take users deep into the weeds on detailed pages, tooltips that pop up extra context when you hover, and bookmarks to snap between multiple saved views, well, you've just transformed a boring report into a completely interactive, personalized experience.
Up next, Section 5, Publishing to Cloud Service. Your masterpiece is finally ready, so it's time to get it out to your stakeholders using the cloud.
This is basically a straightforward 3-step delivery process to keep your team looped in with the very latest insights. First up, you hit Publish to push your local file up to the Power BI service online. Next, you set up a gateway. This connects your on-premise data up to the cloud so you can schedule automated data refreshes, because nobody wants to look at stale data, right? Finally, you bundle all this content into workspaces and distribute it to your users securely via apps.
And of course, security is an absolutely massive priority here. But you can rest easy because row-level security, or RLS, is baked right in. RLS secures your data by dynamically filtering exactly what each user is allowed to see based entirely on their specific role. So a regional manager on the East Coast only ever sees East Coast data, while the CEO gets to see the entire global picture. And they are both looking at the exact same report. It's just incredibly efficient. Finally, Section 6, Optimization and Pro Tips. Let's finish strong with some rapid-fire optimizations that will really make you work like a total pro.
The real gap between a beginner and a master comes down to these fundamental rules. Number 1, always try to use measures instead of calculated columns. It saves file space and keeps things running fast. Keep that star schema as clean and simple as possible. Try to avoid bidirectional cross filters. Just stick to a single direction so you don't get super weird, unexpected filtering behavior. Oh, and please always document your DAX measures and name your tables clearly so the next person knows exactly what's going on.
Because at the end of the day, as our source material perfectly points out, possessing solid data skills literally makes you 10 times more valuable. When you combine a deep understanding of the business with DAX mastery and razor-sharp data modeling, it's just an unbeatable formula. You absolutely multiply the value you bring to any organization.
So there you have it. You now understand the entire 15-step end-to-end workflow. We've gone from extracting and shaping messy raw data to wiring up an analytical brain with DAX, all the way to publishing highly secure, interactive cloud dashboards. The only question left is, what hidden stories are you going to uncover in your own data next? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.